Hello, folks. Welcome to another part in this hybrid zombie shooter tutorial series. And today we're going to take a look at how to do the quest completion. We're going to take care of the function, and also we're going to take care of the UI portion of it as well to show the completed quest. Now, this functionality is going to be pretty easy and straightforward, and I made it as simple as possible. And again, the overall UI system so far, we have kept it very minimal, and also the quest system as well. And we're going to keep expanding on this as we go progressing through this quest series. I hope you like this type of video. If you do, hit that like button. But now let's go and take a look at how to complete your quests. Let's start with our quest manager here. Inside of our report objective, we are going to first take a look at our quantity required and the current quantity. If both of those values are the same, that means we know that the objective is completed. So first, I'm going to go ahead and drag off of this quantity required, and I'm going to do an equal node. And I'm going to get the return value after the current quantity has been increased. And I'm going to set this to here. And if both of these values are the same, then we know the objective is completed. So I'm just going to drag this out to the very end here. And I'm going to add in a branch after we add our updated quest data to our active quest. And then I'm going to connect the condition here, just like this. We want to use a separate function to handle anything that happens after the quest has been completed or when the objective is completed. So we're going to go ahead and create a new function and call this onObjective completed. This is going to take an input, and this is going to be of type quest ID, and the type would be integer. Let's go back to our report objective, drag in your objective completed, and plug this in here just like this, and make sure that it's plugged off of true. Here we need to send in our quest ID. Our quest ID is basically this node that we're getting, and it comes all the way back here where we did our first loop and got our quest ID. So I'm going to just drag off of this node and then connect this to the quest ID here. Now let's go ahead and do the function. So in our onObjective completed function, first we're going to drag in our active quest, and we're going to find this quest to make sure that it exists and there's no errors or anything like that, and do a branch. And if the quest is found, then we want to drag off of this and we want to break the quest data. And what we need to do essentially here is we need to go through every single objectives to make sure that each and every single objective that is defined in our active quest is completed. If all of the objectives in the quest is completed, that means the entire quest is considered to be completed. So I'm going to drag off of this objectives, and I'm going to do a for each loop for me to go through each and every single one of them. I'm going to go ahead and hide the unconnected pins. So just get it out of the way and connect this off of the true. And here I'm going to drag off the array element, and I'm going to break the objectives. And we need the current quantity and the quantity required. So we're going to check if the current quantity equals to the required quantity, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter which way you look at it. As long as both of these numbers are the same, we're going to do a branch here and connect this to the loop body. So it's going to do this for every single objective in there. So if you have 10 objectives in a quest, it's going to do this 10 times, right? And if it is true, then we want to kind of keep track of this number, because if you have 10 quests, and we need some sort of a way to track which ones are completed or how many of them are completed, how many is not. We're going to create a local variable, and we're going to name this local underscore completed quantity. Drag this completed quantity in here, do a get, and then drag off of this and do a plus plus to do an increment integer, and then plug it in here just like this. So this will increase our local completed quantity by 1 for every single objective where the quantity required and the current quantity equals the same. That means the objective is completed. Now we need to check if our local completed quantity equals to the total number of objectives that are inside of this quest. And it's pretty simple. If you just go back to where you have your objective array and do a length node, you're going to get the number of objectives that are inside of this array. And we're just going to do a comparison. Let me just drag this out here. And I'm going to do if the length equals this completed quantity. Again, doesn't really matter how you do this, vice versa. As long as both of these numbers are the same, we're going to do a branch and connect this to this execution pin here. We're going to drag in our completed quests, and we're going to add our quest ID to this completed quest. And here we can just drag off of this and say get quest ID. And we're going to drag in our active quests, get active quest, and we're going to remove the quest ID. So we no longer need that quest in our active quest. We are going to keep track of it in our completed quest. And we're going to do a return node here. And we're going to have an output. And we're going to name this as quest completed. And this is going to be of type Boolean. And we're going to connect this node right in here. This is just a true or false node that will let us know if this quest was successfully removed from our map. Again, this is an optional node. If you want to keep it inside of your active quest and kind of like, gray it out, that's completely up to you. For a main quest, this is what you would normally do. But in our system, we're going to have two separate sections, one for our active quest, one for our completed quest. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and remove this from our active quest section. And I can create a new UI with just a completed quest, and it will show me all the quests that are completed. Now let's go ahead and update our UI as well. So in our quest system UI folder, open up your objective info, go to your graph, and where you have your function to update your progress, let's go ahead and rename this. Get text doesn't really make any sense. This would be update quest progress. There you go. That name makes more sense now. And here we don't have to go and fetch any type of information because we're already getting all the necessary information that we need for that specific objective, which is the required amount and the current amount. So we're just going to drag this required amount and do an equal, and the current amount do an equal. Actually, let's put this down here and then do a branch and connect this to this node here. If the required amount is not equal to the current amount, which is basically this false tree, then we're going to continue on with this. No changes. But if it is true, then we want to copy this and then paste it up here, just like this, and connect this to the true. And here you can do a whole bunch of different things, right? Here you can just leave the progress as it is, and you can just do a dash, and then you can say completed, or you can just get rid of this whole thing, and then you can just say completed. Completely up to you. But for now, I'm just going to show the progress and also state that it's completed. And one more thing that I want to do is the text. I want the color to change. So I'm going to go back to my designer and then select the text block and make sure that this is a variable. And also I'm going to rename this to the progress underscore text. And here in my variables, I'm going to drag in my progress text and do a get. And here I can do set color and opacity. I can just select this node, connect this to the true, and then the result of this will be connected to the return node. So we want to set the color before we go ahead and return it. And off of in color and opacity, I'm going to drag and do a make slate color and then set this color to like green and then press OK. So this will now set the color of the text once the objective is completed. So let's go ahead and test this out in the game. I'm going to go touch this NPC, open up my UI just so that I can have that up. Let's leave it on the side quest. Pull out my weapon and start killing some zombies. And that's 4. And as soon as I kill my 5th zombie, you should see the quest change color. And if I go ahead and finish killing the rest of the zombies here, both the objectives are completed, and you will now see the progress has gone to 0, 0. That's because we have removed this quest from our active quest. So our UI no longer can go and retrieve this information from the active quest. So let's go ahead and quickly fix that. So if you ever get this error with the refresh widget children on your third-person graph, that's basically this function here where we did to refresh the quest live. This is a simple fix. You just need to right-click on this quest screen reference and then convert it to a validated get, and then connect this to is valid. That error basically is we're trying to refresh a widget which didn't even exist. So that's why we need to do a validated get and only refresh the widget if the widget exists. With that out of the way, we're going to go to our quest manager and we're going to go to our get quest progress. And as you can see, this get quest progress is getting the quest progress from our active quest. So we need to now change this function to send in the information if the quest is completed. So we're going to drag in our completed quest here, and we're going to do a contain. And what we're looking for here is the actual quest ID itself. So I can just go ahead and do a get quest ID node. And we need to do this before we go ahead and do all of this. I'm going to go ahead and drag this get quest progress node all the way to the back here. We can go ahead and disconnect this and then drag off of this and say get quest ID just to keep it clean. And let's bring this node in here and then do a branch and connect this Boolean here just like this. Now, if the completed quest does not contain the quest ID that we're looking for the quest progress, then we're going to go off of false and then send in our normal information like we normally do. But if your quest ID is inside of the completed quest, then we want to create a new function to get the information about the quest and then send it separately. So first we're going to create a function and we're going to name this get_quest info. And this is going to have a quest ID input. And this would be of type integer, as usual. We're going to get data table row. And our row name, we're going to make literal name. And our quest ID, we're going to convert it to string. And then now we can connect this here. And our data table is going to be dt_quests. And now this is going to give us our quest data. So we're going to drag off of this and we're going to break st quest data. We need to know which objective that we need the information for. So that's the reason why we added this objective index to our quest progress. So over to our get quest info, I can go ahead and add in an input for objective index and then leave it of type integer. Now drag off of this objective and do a get, and we can do a get a reference. And then now we have our objective index as a node. So that means I can go ahead and do get objective index. Let's hide all the unconnected pins and drag off of this get node and then break the objective index. And here we only need the quantity required. We don't need anything else. That's because if a quest is completed and it's in the completed list, that means the current quantity has reached the quantity completed. And we are not really saving the current quantity and the quantity required information in like a save file. So if you were to just drag off of this and set this on your UI, it's always going to be 0 because we're getting fresh information from our data table. And in our data table, the current quantity is set to 0. So that's why we're just going to get our required quantity. So we're going to do a return node here. And this return node, I'm going to plug in the quantity required in here just like this. We don't need any other information from this. So back in our get quest progress, I'm going to drag in our get quest info. And the quest ID, we can just go ahead and call for get quest ID. And the objective index, we can go ahead and get our objective index here, just like this. And we're going to do a return node. And the quantity required will be plugged into both of these nodes. Now remember, on report objective, we are updating our active quest data with the current quantity, but we're not really saving anything. As soon as we remove this quest from our active quest data, that information of the current quantity being incremented here no longer exists. So that's the reason why we're using this quantity required for both of them, because we know if the quest is inside of a completed quest array, that means all of the objectives are completed. So if I go ahead and press play, grab a quest, you can see 3 and 4th one. The quest is completed, and now you got 5 out of 5, which is perfect. And if I go ahead to killing the rest of the zombies here, 10 out of 10, and it's still good. And the last thing I'm going to show you here is to create that UI to separate between the completed quest and also the active quest. So let's go to our content drawer and let's go to our quest screen. And in this widget, I want to keep it as simple as possible. So first, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate our side overlay. And then I'm going to rename this to completed_overlay. And let's expand this. And for our text, we're going to change this to completed. And our side button 1, we're going to change this to completed_button. Compile and save. And then the side quest container, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. And then rename this into our completed quest container. Compile and save it. Now select the completed button and then go all the way down and then select on clicked. And here we want to now change our widget switcher. So I'm going to go ahead and select our widget switcher, set active widget index, and also this update widget view. Copy these 3 nodes and I'm going to just put it down here. And then connect the execution pin just like so. And set the index to 2. And where we have our update widget view, this is where we're going and creating these widgets. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new pin for 2, drag in your completed quest container, and then call for clear children, and then connect this to 2. And now we want to create a widget to hold all of our completed quests. So in our content drawer, I'm going to go ahead, right click on the side quest widget, and I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it and name this w_completed quest. Inside of here, just small changes. We're going to change our text here from side quest to completed. And our quest container here is going to just have the name of the main quest and also the term completed. We're going to go ahead and delete all of this for now and then rebuild our quest. First, we're going to go to our content drawer, for interface and BPI quest, open this up. And here we're going to create a new function, and this would be get completed quest array. And this is going to have an output, and this would be our completed quests. And this would be of type integer and of type array as well. So we're going to go ahead and compile and save it. And in our W completed quest, off of our BPC Quest Manager component by class, we're going to get completed quest array. And here we're going to go to our BPC Quest Manager, and under interfaces, I should have get completed quest array. Double click on it. And then I'm going to drag this completed quest array and then plug it in here just like this. And that's all I'm going to do here for this. And back in our completed quest, we're going to drag off of this completed quest and do a for each loop. So go through each and every single completed quest. We're going to drag off of our loop body, and then we're going to get our data table row. The array element, we're going to change it to a string integer. And then also our data table row, we're going to make literal name and then connect this here just like this. And the data table will be our DT quests. Compile. And then the out row, we're going to break our ST quest data. And now we're going to go ahead and create the quest info. So off of our row found, we're going to create widget. And this would be our quest info. Now this is going to ask for our quest info structure, which is our out row. We're going to plug it in here. And then also I'm going to open up this quest info and add in a variable. And this variable is going to be named as completed with the question mark, and it's a Boolean, and also instance editable and expose on spawn. And we're going to go back to our completed quest here, and then this completed, we're going to set this to true. And then compile and save. And automatically the other 2 widgets are going to set this to false. So if I go to my main quest, you should see the completed is set to false. And then same thing for the side quest as well. Now back in our quest info, I'm going to drag in this completed. Let me make some room here. And then put in a branch. Now making this very simple. We don't need anything crazy to show in our quest widget if the quest is completed. So if the quest is not completed, then we're going to go ahead and create all of our objective info. If the quest is completed, if this is true, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this set text just like this. And for this in text here, I'm going to drag off of it and I'm going to do a format. Inside of this format text, I'm going to add in a parentheses and then do a space. And then I'm going to say dash and complete it. And inside of this parentheses, I'm going to go ahead and put in quest name. And that's going to give me a quest name input. I'm going to drag the quest name from here and then plug it in here just like this. So what this will do is as soon as the quest info is generated again from the completed quest, and then based on the completed status, if it is completed, then it's going to just say quest name and completed. That's it. If it is not completed, then it will go ahead and do the objectives and such. So back in our completed quest, we can now go ahead and drag in our quest container, and we can add child and plug this return value and also the execution pin, just like so. That's all we're going to do with our completed quest. Let's go ahead and close this. And back in our quest screen, we're going to create a widget. And this is going to be our completed quest widget. Owning player would be our player controller. drag off of this and promote to a variable, and we're going to name this variable as completed quest reference. And we're going to drag in our completed quest container here and add child and connect the execution pin and also the content. And now, because we have set up our third widget, we no longer need this is main quest widget active Boolean anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And where we have our refresh widget children, let's go ahead and delete this Boolean check. And we're going to get our widget switcher. And we're going to go ahead and get our active widget index, drag off of this active widget and do a switch on integer. We can get rid of the default pin and then add in 3 pins. And for pin 0, we're going to refresh our main widget. And if the pin is 1, then we're going to refresh our side quest. And for number 2, we want to drag in our completed quest reference. And then we're going to call in a refresh feed, just like so. The last thing that we need to do is we want to be able to call this update widget view function from our quest manager as soon as the quest is completed. For that, we're going to go back to our BPI quest and we're going to create a new function. And this would be to refresh quest screen, compile and save it. And in our quest screen, we're going to go to our class settings, and under implemented interfaces, we're going to implement our BPI quest interface. And here under interfaces, we can go ahead and double click on this refresh quest screen. And we're going to go ahead and call for update widget view. And in our BPC quest manager, we're going to open up our on objective completed. This function, just before we go ahead and return this node, we're going to go ahead and do a sequence. For the sequence, it's going to run this then 0, and then it's going to run then 1. So then 1, I want to do the return node. But just before we do our return node, we want to now go ahead and get all widgets with interface. And this would be our BPI quest interface. I'm going to drag off of this found widgets, and I'm going to call for refresh quest screen. And if you don't see it, like I showed you many times in the past, you can just get your player character, a reference to your player character, and then call for our refresh quest screen. You should get a message. Then you can delete your player character and then connect this found widgets here just like this. Compile and save it. Now if you go ahead and press play and pull out the weapon, then let's start killing some zombies. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I kill the 5th zombie, you should see the main quest disappear here, and then the completed quest should be populated with that quest that we just completed. And again, if I go ahead and continue shooting on the zombies, my side quest should now complete, and then the side quest should show up here, and my side quest and my main quest is now empty.